All right. Welcome, Rippaverse fans. The Horseman is out. I got it this week. It actually came about 2 days after the campaign closed here. They hit 14,000 books sold with $800,000 in total sales. Huge win for the Rippaverse for Horseman. Now, this thing caused controversy right away, and we're going to get into a review of this in just a moment that will have some spoilers. So at that point, you might want to either wait or you can just watch and I'll tell you what I think of the book. And so people just mocked it profusely. There was there were some bad actors really who were doing so. They're trying to make whole channels off of trying to destroy this, and it was really really weird because they were going at it like it was Eric's idea, like it was like because they just hate Eric, right? But it was Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett's creation. It was entirely their creation. There's a foreword of the book where Chuck actually talks about how he approached Eric with it and says, "Hey, we want to do this. Well, can we do this?" And Eric gave them the blessing. This is Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett's book. So all those people who were out there trying to hit and attack Eric July just because they wanted to destroy him, this is a dumb concept. This is a dumb look. By the way, I think it's a great concept, and I think it looks fantastic. So they're wrong on that level too. But it's not even his concept. I mean, that is the level of just sheer vitriol that they throw against the Rippaverse, and it's ridiculous. And it does make you want to support it more, just to see these people see. That's pretty funny. But I did get the book, and it is a Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett book, which is a big deal. This is something that these are A-list creators doing A-list work, my friends. We'll get into the review in just a moment. Hit the like and subscribe button and join us here as we talk about all things in the comics, especially the big things in pop culture, my friends. And please, I am a comic creator myself, and if you enjoy the Rippaverse, you might have seen my Overmind in 2022. And thank you, Eric, of course, for supporting and pushing my Hidden Emperor, my sequel to that, in a video earlier this year. But my Emerald Array right now is on Fund My Comic. Now, I actually got banned from Kickstarter for reporting on the mainstream industry here. I'm too based for Kickstarter. And so we went over to this free speech platform right here, which is awesome. And I love this place, and I love the creators here. I love to support Fund My Comic. And we made a awesome science fiction epic Space Marine comic. If you just like badass, high-tea action, like spacemen fighting against space monsters, this is for you. I built this just for you guys. You guys were saying that you were sick of the way Star Wars was. You were sick of the way that Warhammer 40K was destroying their universes. And so we did it for you. This is a 66-page graphic novel, and I would love for you to get in on this. It does tie into my Ayla Rin stuff, so I've got a full universe building like Star Wars, like the Rippaverse in science fiction, and I think you'll really enjoy this. It does read by itself because it is unique characters to this, but it also ties into the major story as well, which we are building a big intergalactic war within the universe, which is a lot of fun. So check this out. It's in the description below, and thank you very much. Now, the first thing about Horseman is it was a pretty long graphic novel. I mean, you definitely got your money for what you're paying, which is $25 right here. It is a huge graphic novel, and they went through and really did a full story in this, which I really loved. In fact, I think this is actually the best, most complete story within the Rippaverse. A lot of the Rippaverse, I'd say, issues with some of the other books is that they clearly tie into something that's building, and it's like you have to kind of wait for like a lot of graphic novels, and a lot of it has not paid off over the last sort of things as they're setting things up. This one really does hit on its own, and it has a full character arc. It has a full storyline that gets done. There is some parts that doesn't resolve, but that not resolution is like it's in the way that old comics used to be, and this is Chuck Dixon's like sort of way that you would do serials back in the day, and it's like you have a complete story, and then at the end of it you have like a little like coda that kind of leads into, okay, well, there could be more, and that's what comics used to be. I love that storytelling style right here. So the Horseman is about a guy. He was a military ranger, and he is using his training basically to be a vigilante, and this is a really cool vigilante setup right here. And this is let's see, there he is. Perfect. And so he goes around his hometown as it is, and what he does is he hits criminals and drug traffickers, and what he does, and then loots the money off of them, and then lives off of that. Pretty cool. And I've always like kind of thought about that as a concept. I've always been like, why don't the superheroes just like use the stuff for good and all that? They never use it. They just kind of like let it go or burn all the money or let the cops get it. Well, this vigilante does this. So, as a concept, he really is like a smash up between the Punisher and Batman, and it's very much right in the middle. He uses guns, he uses weapons, he isn't afraid to kill, and he definitely has a lot of Punisher elements to it as a vigilante, like using the drug money for himself and things like that. And he does it for good because he's feeding his family, and his family is comprised of his sister, who has a dead husband, and her son. And so those two like really need somebody to support them. And so he lives with them and supports them. And I will note that his sister is a redhead in a wheelchair. Nice nod there, Chuck Dixon, to to Barbara Gordon. And I have a hunch that in the future of this, she's going to become very Oracle-like. And I think that's a good thing. And I think, by the way, I think that's a response. I haven't talked to Chuck about this or anything, but correct me if I'm wrong and you watch this. But I think this is intentional because of the way that they changed Barbara Gordon back into Batgirl and just ignored the Killing Joke, and in DC Comics just completely got rid of that, which pissed me off when they did this with the New 52. Bringing her back to Oracle because she is a better character as Oracle, and Chuck really developed her very, very well. Well, this character's a little different, and she's a little, I'd say, more of a standard office worker type than like a Barbara Gordon type. So definitely creates their own unique characters. This guy being an army ranger and not rich, and kind of like living in a house day to day, and this is how he actually makes his income to survive. Very unique concept there on that level as well. And the design's really cool. I like the Horseman design. You've got the chest piece on there. He definitely looks armored, and definitely carries his weapons around. So I think the design looks really cool. Joe Bennett did a great job on that front. It opens up with the character fighting these like ninja types, and then eventually, he's ready to get out of Dodge after he kind of defeats them, and he decides to move to Floorspark and start up things there. And so in Punisher fashion, like instead of like the Punisher War Journal, he gives these he goes after action report number 152 on a few pages. It gives a nice reminiscent of back in the day when those Punisher comics were awesome as well. So I love that. And then he goes after this this operation by this guy right here. A bunch of drug running and things like that in Floorspark. He gets caught by some like dirty cops who are like kind of on the dole there, and they want to split all the money with him. They find his secret identity. He kind of was not cautious enough right away, and he ends up having to do their dirty work for them and is in a bad pickle because he doesn't want his family to get caught and exposed and in trouble in the process. Now, he is still doing good work in the fact that he's attacking this drug running company and this drug running efforts and all that, the cartel. But he is in a pickle on his personal level, and he's also helping dirty cops, so it doesn't feel good, right? You're feeling like you're on edge the entire time, which creates a great sort of setup for this book. The pacing is extremely fast. You can pour through this. I mean, like I think there's at least over 100 pages, and it just reads like so fast because you can't put it down, and that's great storytelling right there. The dialogue's fantastic. It's fresh. All the characters seem very like their own. In this level. And eventually, he gets into a situation where the cops are there, and he tries to set up a sting for the cops. And this guy here sends two sort of like crazy powered characters who he's got under their employ, who look like the I'd say they're likened to Nazis in the book. They're the blonde hair, blue eyed Aryans there, and they do have powers, and so he ends up in a spot that's a little harder to deal with than he thought he would have been to begin with. Those guys immediately off the cops who he's working for, which ends his personal problems right there, and he starts to get into a knockdown, drag out fight where he really can't win. And so, spoiler big time here, Alpha Core shows up. Finishes things off, and then he actually deals with them himself. He works very well as a hero but blacks out in the process. And so when he gets back to Alpha Core, they know who he is. They warn him, you better not do this sort of vigilante thing anymore. Floorspark is our territory. We are the cops here. We're authorized to do this. You're not. And they give him a second chance. And this is interesting. So this plays in, Alpha Core does this a couple of times. They did this with Yaira before. And so it seems like even though there's these unauthorized people and, maybe they be skirting the law, they kind of do use the spirit of the law rather than the letter of the law, and they definitely offer redemption for people. Very very much a Christian theme within this whole universe, which I really like about Alpha Core by itself as well. And so it ends with him he actually told his family what he does because he couldn't hide it anymore, and he says he's going to stop and try to live a normal life at this point. And it's like, well, maybe I'll come back. Now, this guy here, he's still out and about and still at large. So while Horseman defeated his henchman, the main boss is still out there and still looking for him and wants to destroy him. And so there is a room for a second story in this, or even for Alpha Core to be dealing with that, because Alpha Core said it's not your problem anymore. And it was really, really good. I love the art all the way through. I think Joe Bennett did a great job on this. Love all the character designs. I think they're fantastic. This was perfect. I mean, honestly, every Rippaverse book that's come out has gotten better than the last. And this one is truly a 9 out of 10. This is by far their best offering, and by far something interesting. It feels like a Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett book from the 90s, and that's exactly what I want. It is the perfect addition to the universe. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for being here and watching the review. And please, if you enjoy my reviews and enjoy my thoughts on comics, support independent comics, guys. I've got this on Fund My Comic right now. It's in the description below, and I appreciate you for getting us to $15,000 so far. Thank you so much. We'll be back soon.